again, everybody. Evan and I are back again today to give you some more at-home science ideas for anyone who finds themselves homeschooling and may be comfortable with English or math, but might be at a loss when it comes to science-related activities. Today we're going to do an experiment about osmosis. Osmosis simply means the movement of water, and what happens is water will always follow solutes. I tell my kids that just to think of salt, because a lot of times the solute is salt and it's just easier to remember. So I always tell my kids, water goes where salt goes, or for high schoolers, I usually just tell them, just remember salt sucks. So wherever it's saltier, that's where the water is going to go. So our experiment today comes in two parts. In the first part of the experiment, which will take about a day, you're going to dissolve the shells off of some eggs. And in the second part of the experiment, which will take another day, is you're going to put the eggs in either pure water or in corn syrup and see what happens. So if we come on over here, to start with, here are just some eggs I pulled from my fridge just a few minutes ago. Right here we have some eggs that have been sitting in vinegar. And what happens is in the vinegar, here, I'm just gonna wash it off in the water here, the shell dissolves off. And this is kind of a fun place to stop, especially if you have little kids, because it makes a rubber egg. And if you're very careful, you can even bounce it, which is pretty cool. And kids love this. Even my high schoolers just love this so much. So that's the first part. But if we want to talk about osmosis, we have to take this a step further. So after we've dissolved the shell off the eggs, you want to touch it? Pretty weird, huh? After we've dissolved the shell off the eggs, then we're going to take our shellless eggs and we're going to put them in either water, right here, or in corn syrup. Honey will also work, but honey is more expensive than corn syrup, so I usually stick with the cheap option. And if you wait 24 hours, what will happen is, in our egg that was in the water, we should, if we compare it to our egg from the fridge, we should be able to see that the egg has grown. And that's because the inside of the egg in the pure water was saltier than the outside. So since salt sucks, the water came into the egg. In our corn syrup egg, I'm going to rinse this off so that my hands don't get too sticky. What we find is that our egg has shriveled and shrunk. And the reason for that is because it was, well, in this case, sugary, more sugary-er on the outside of the egg. And so the water left the egg, and so the egg shrunk. So there you have it. Simple experiment, just takes some time. I made a printout here of all the supplies that you'll need. So you'll just need some eggs and vinegar for the first part to make your rubber or shellless egg. I did do 2 vinegar soaks to get the shell completely off, so you might need to put it through the vinegar twice. And then for the osmosis portion, you'll simply need corn syrup or honey as well as water. And if you want to make this more, like if you want to include some math in this experiment for your kids, you can include a ruler or a kitchen scale, and they can actually either measure the length or width difference or the mass difference before and after osmosis occurs. Thank you so much. I'll see you again.